time to continue our deep dive into the CAGED system. We're going to be working on the C chord. So C-A-G-E-D, CAGED, C, capital C, boom, boom, jumping straight into it. So this chord is, I would say, the most situational one I've used whenever it comes to open chords using the CAGED system, but it's not as valuable as the E and the A shapes, which you would have looked at in our previous lessons. And if you're new here, my name's Luan. I'm a professional musician and live streamer, and I graduated from Berkeley with a scholarship, and we've got a free online music school where we give practical music education for everybody to help crush in their musical journeys. And this is a lesson within the guitar course in the practical guitar theory section. So I will pin it inside the comments. So if you just go to the comments, click it there, and you will be able to go straight to where this lesson is inside the guitar course. It's all free. Have fun, and then you can catch up on the previous lessons and the future ones. So let's go straight into the C chord. Now, the C chord is really, really awesome because of two things where we're going to nail where the two root functions are. And obviously, if you've been going through the CAGED system with us, you would know that the CAGED system is us using the open chords of C, A, G, E, D, and then we're using those open chords to give us a framework to play any chord we want on the fretboard. And so typically we're using the root notes as anchor points, which is then going to give us, they'll cue us to where the third is, where the fifth is, and if you get more advanced, it will show you, you know, where's your ninth, where's your 11th, where's your 13th, and you can be way more clever with the guitar. So super, super amazing tool. Now, the C chord right here, this is a bit of a banger chord, and it is, it has like it kind of blends in with the G chord and the D chord, but on its own, we're just going to tackle it just looking at it on its own, because you will find what I mean when I talk about it connecting with like a D chord and it connecting with the G chord. So we're going to look straight here, and I'm just going to break down the whole framework of the C chord. So the framework of the C chord, where it goes, starts on the root on the A string. So we're going 3rd fret. So this is the root on the A string. And then we got 2nd fret on the D string, open G string, 1st fret on the B string, and then open E string. And then the exact like root, 3rd, 5th, you know, the framework of what makes a chord, it goes like this. Root, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd. So knowing where these are, this is going to be a bit of a change to the E and the A shapes, because the E and the A shapes are very similar exactly in their frameworks. So this one is quite similar to the G chord. But anyway, we won't go like too far into that right away. But you got root, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd. Now, anytime we're playing on the fretboard, the two positions that this is going to be very powerful in is going to be using the root here on the A string, and then the root on the B string to help you find where you are on the fretboard and come up with clever ideas. Now, we'll start with just the root note on the 5th string. So with this one, anywhere you go on the fretboard, like I said, you just build out the chords with your 2nd, 3rd, and pinky, and then you can bar here. This is based off of our very first CAGED video. And you can move up the fretboard like this. Now, this is a really, really painful guitar shape to do. It's not something you see a lot of people do. Now, what you do want to do with this shape is you want to use it to cue different little things, like stuff like that. This is the cue that you'll see that a lot of really, really, really good guitarists will actually come up with amazing melodic riffs or whatever. So basically using your chord shapes here. I can't remember how it goes. Last night we let the liquor talk. We'll go on. Boom. So you got a shape right there. Root, 3rd, 5th. And then they do another thing here where they're moving up to the D, where they... That's a fancier chord. We won't name it. But you can see root, 3rd. And then root, 3rd, So they use the root note here to cue them where the third's going to be. Root, third, root, third, root, third, and then root, third, root, third, root, third, root, third. So that's the power of knowing where the fifth string is going, where the root note is on the fifth string. So normally if you got the root note on the fifth string or the A string, it can either go in one or two directions. If you go directions up the fretboard, use your A shape. If you want to go back down the other way, you can use your C shape. So it gives you openings towards phrasing that you can do what you like. And you don't exactly have to play the whole chord like this. You can just play parts of the chord. So I got a G chord up here. Oh, where is it? G chord right here. And then I'm going to go like a G, D, C. I could play a G right here. And then I've got my D chord here. And then like that. So you see how pretty we can get here? And that's an A shape for the D and then A shape for the C. Or I can do like an E shape for those. So that's an E shape for the D. And then there's my C shape for the G. So you can see how that opened me up to getting these really, really cool voicings. And so when you hear guitarists doing great voicings and blending things together and just pretty stuff, the best way I can explain it is pretty stuff. I try to not go hard on the technical terms of things because I realize that like not a lot of y'all want to be super technical. But anytime someone's like, hey, what's that pretty stuff that you do? That's what I'm doing. There's no like ninja thing that's happening. It's like I'm literally using a C chord and I know the framework of the C chord of root, third, fifth, root, third. And then I know that any time that I go up on the fretboard, boom, there's a G chord here. And I know there's a C chord here and a D chord here. And if the progression is G, C, D, I've got G and I got C and I got D. And then I just choose what I want to bring out. So you can see how I'm blending in these different kind of C shapes, E shapes, things like that. This is definitely going to save you a lot of time because when I first tried to find triad shapes, it was all about like doing triad exercises and memorizing the fretboard. This is way easier. You see, all I had to know was where is my root note, and then I just build my chord. Bam, C chord, winning. Can do this anywhere on the fretboard. E chord, boom. Now, the tricky thing with this one is the minor shape. Now, the minor shape, there's no like real open C minor shape that you can work on because there's 2/3, and so shifting two positions on open chord is not bueno. So what you want to do with the open chord shapes, or the minor shapes, is you kind of want to not stress about it and leave it for the D chord. So one thing that you might find that the root note on the upper part of the C chord is based on the B string. Now this is the same as our D shapes. So with the D shapes, you can get your major shape here and your minor shape there. So we're going to go into that in another video, but that's why I don't really want you to stress about figuring out where like a minor shape is using the C formula. But if you do want to do it, you're just going to bring down the third down a half step. So if we want to bring out like a minor triad, like how, they do in Morgan Wallen's song, then all you would do is just bring the third down a half step. So there's my third, major third, and now I want my minor third. It's going to be one step back, and there's my minor third. So these are all using the C shape. Now this shape that we are doing here is also similar to what the G will do. The G does the exact same thing, but on the low E string. But we're going to do that in the next video. So you can see where now that we've stepped away from the E and the A shapes, the C, the G, the D, they all kind of start to blend in, but the C kind of really, for me, the C is like the most situational, successful one. And then the next video, we're going to talk about like the D and the G on their own, like together, because they're kind of like the more, you know, YOLO. Like, I don't know where. Sometimes I add them, sometimes I don't. But typically I just use the framework of the C, and then that kind of allows me to navigate everything. So just quick recap. The framework for the C chord: root, third, fifth, root, third. And so if we're going to build it out, use your pinky, third finger, second finger, and then you can bar here, just the bar the G and the E string, and you've got your C shape everywhere. I don't really recommend this as like a chord shape, because like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But you know, John Mayer sometimes does it. So you can see all the way up the fretboard, you can be quite clever. And actually what you heard me just do there, it sounds so good on an E chord, because you can just play the low E there and then get this whole chord coming out really, really rich. Very, very, very cool. So yeah, that's the C chord. Hopefully that gives you a bit more insight into what we're doing with the C chord. And let's just jump into the D and the G in the next video.